Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome to my channel. Today I have for you a creative warrior project and it's actually based on this week's Monday Mojo, which is Watercolours. So I'm starting off with March's free image, which you can get from Michelle's shop. I'll put the link for you down in the description so you can grab your free image and hopefully enter into the competition. So I've already got my page in my book gessoed, and I'm just gluing my piece of rice paper down, and I've used some Stamperia mixed media gel, the little bit that I had left over, and then I've got out some golden matte medium to finish it off. And once I got that dry, I actually put a layer of Daniel Smith transparent watercolour ground over the entire top because I wanted to use watercolours, hence Monday Mojo. So that's what I've done there. So once I've got it dry, I've got out my Daniel Smith watercolours and my silver brush, I think they're silver brush paintbrushes, and my fancy new little water jug and dish that I bought from Tony Burt from her Etsy store. So I'm going to start off by adding some skin colour to my image, and she looks a bit like she's got jaundice actually at the moment. She's a bit yellow, but we will fix that in the end. Oh dear, I'm not very good with these watercolours, but I try, and the fun, and the Daniel Smith ones are just so lush, so yummy. Okay, so now that I've got that kind of first layer dry, I'm actually coming in with a slightly darker colour. I think it might be like a burnt sienna or something like that. I'm not really sure. I don't know what they're called actually, the colours. I can't remember what they're all called. But it was a nice sort of browny skin colour, and I thought that would help tone down the yellow, which it did quite a bit. So now I'm grabbing a little bit of pink and purple so I can give her some nice rosy cheeks, because I like my girls to have nice rosy cheeks. Rosy. Anyway, she looks cute and I like them like that, so that's what I'm going to do. But while that bit's drying, I'm going to start painting in some of my leaves. So I'm just doing a simple brush stroke where I just press down and lift up my paintbrush. And I've got this nice green here, and I do actually know the colour of this green. It's called Cascade Green, only because it's a new one. It's very pretty. It's kind of a bluish green. Yeah, I really like it. So I put that layer down, and then when that was dry, I've come in with another green, which is a little bit brighter, and add some more colour into her cheeks. It's all about layers with watercolours, and it's a kind of a slow process because you kind of have to wait for it to dry in between. But if you're impatient like me, you can always grab out your heat gun and speed it up a little bit, because that's what I did. So now I'm increasing the shadows around her eyes with some purple. I think purple seems to be the go. I know Fiona's used purple on hers, and I think Michelle did as well in her Saturday Night Live. So I've gone with the flow and added some purple as well. So now I'm putting in some more green into my background, putting some more pink into her cheeks because, they're not quite bright enough for me, and adding some more colours into her skin, so it's starting to look a little bit more, I don't know, not so yellow, I guess is the word, and more like skin. I think that's what I'm trying to do. So I think I've actually added in a little bit of purple around the sides of her face, as well as the shadow around her eyes, just to help increase the shadow, so she doesn't look so flat on the page. Here I go again with the cheeks. I can't give up on those, can I? Oop, that was a bit too yellow. Let's add some purple into that and tone that down. Add some more purple around her eyes. So she's actually starting to look quite cool. More pink on her cheeks. And I'm going to put in some more of the Cascade Green into the leaves, because when I did that other wash they kind of ran away. I guess my colour was a little bit too strong. I didn't have enough water in it, so I lost some of my colours there. So I've come back and added some more in, and add some more purple. That's a lot of purple around her eyes, but we all know that watercolours actually dry a lot lighter than what they are when you put them down. So even though I mop a little bit up here on her eyebrows, because I still wanted those to be white, it does actually dry a lot lighter. So yeah, so it's not so bad. So now I'm just mixing up some other green for the leaves around the outside, and then I'm going to mix up a nice sort of greeny goldy colour for her hair. So it hasn't got a real lot of green. Well, it did actually. You'll see in a minute. You'll see me start to mix it up in a minute. I actually put a little bit too much green in it and not enough gold. So you'll see me, here I am mixing it up. So the gold that I wanted to use, it's right beside the green. So I ended up with a little bit too much more green. So then I went over into the next well in my palette and added some more water into it. And that thinned it down and made it the colour that I wanted it to be. But it doesn't go to waste, because the darker part I'm actually using to create a little bit darker bits in her hair, around her ears, around her face, and a few strands. You can see me doing that with the paintbrush there. So yeah, so she's looking pretty cool actually. I'm pretty happy with how she's turning out. So now I've got a smaller paintbrush to put in some thinner strands into her hair, just with some of that darker green, or a different colour green. It might be a different colour green actually, because it's more like a Kermit the Frog green. And then once that's dry, I've actually grabbed out my new Faber-Castell watercolour pencils. It's the first time I've actually used them. My goodness, I've had them for a while, but I hadn't been able to use them. So I'm actually going to put in some more strands and more details into her hair with some green and some yellow. So, you know, because our hair's not all the same colour, so that's why I've added in the green. I'm going to add some colour to her eyes with some greens and some blues. A bit more purple shading around her face and the shadows in her face, so she looks a little bit softer. And I've just spritzed it with water just there, just to activate that pencil and get it looking quite cool. So yeah, pretty happy with how that turned out actually. So once it's dry, I've actually got my Posca paint pen now, and I'm just colouring in the whites of her eyes and popping in some catch lights. So that really kind of makes her eyes pop. Going over her eyebrows with the white pen really pops them out as well. And then I've just smudged in a little bit of white on her forehead, her nose, her chin, and on the cheekbones of her face, just to help highlight her face a little bit. So with all my watercolours, I kind of lost her eyelashes a little bit, so I decided that I would draw those in again. But I had a little bit of trouble with that because my pen kept on not working for me. It's very annoying. It must be getting quite low. Anyway, so I'm going around and making her eyelashes a bit longer and a little bit more prominent. So yeah, I think she looks quite pretty. So with her cheeks, I didn't quite exactly get them how I wanted it to be, so I've got out my pan pastels now, and I'm going to smooth them out with some of that. So I've got some of the skin colour and some of the pink, just to help soften off her face there a little bit. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then I add in some purple around her eyes, but I managed to go over that lovely bit of eyelash that I just, you know, spent ages trying to do. So I have to come back and do that bit again. Oh dear, with a pen that doesn't work very well. Anyway, it all works out in the end. So while that bit's all done, now I've grabbed a different black pen. This is a rollerball one actually, and I'm going to draw in around my leaves, just to give them a little bit more definition of what they actually are. Now Michelle has actually got some lines and things in the pattern in the picture already, but I'm just kind of going over them and making them stand out just that little bit more, and adding in a few others, making the picture my own in the process as well. So yeah, so she's got a little bit more greenery around her head and the leaves, and I really like how that turned out. Actually, they're just really sketchy lines, like I'm not staying, you know, within Michelle's lines. I'm just kind of drawing over the top and putting them where I think they would look cool, and they're quite scratchy and they overlap each other, and yeah. But when I finished that and had a look at her, I thought, she's lost the definition of the edges of her face there. So I just grabbed out my pencils again just to help bring that out again a little bit more. So I've used a couple of lighter browns and then a peachy colour to help blend all those, and I didn't wet those because, you know, oh well, I didn't have to. So the last thing that I'm going to do is put a little quote on, and I've got this little sticker book here from Studio Light, and I found the word trust, which is our word for the month, and then another quote which had follow your heart, so I just put trust your heart. So yeah, so here's some of the close-ups. I hope I have inspired you to pull out your watercolours and have a go, and don't forget to pick up Michelle's image and enter our competition. Okay, till next time, I will see you later. Bye.